We are wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent. Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie, might teach you a thing or two.
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling Podcast.
If you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself. 15 years strong, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? Ben here, Uncle Ben, America's favorite uncle, and wrestling's punching bag rage circus, if you will, and welcome to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. Today we got a nice little juicy, would it be go home show or homecoming show for fucking SummerSlam? Would it be homecoming?
I believe it. Yep, this is the beginning of a new era, so this is
So
after
post SummerSlam.
Post SummerSlam, that's the
We
term.
Are Wrestling Podcast, and we got a juicy show for you. Some really good topics. We're teetering on some drama topics, but before we get into all that good old mumbo jumbo, Don, take it away, bud.
Yeah, this week we could thank the WWE for giving us a fun episode because there's a lot to talk about, and I think a lot of people can definitely agree with this. This past Monday on Raw, if you've been hiding under a rock, you better go have that on DVR. You better go and you better watch that full 3-hour episode because, in my opinion, one of the greatest episodes of Monday Night Raw I ever watched.
Dude.
Well, we're going to get into all that this week on the podcast. So before we get into it, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already and you're listening to this podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, over on the YouTube channel, where you get the best pro wrestling content, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And of course, you already know the grind is real.
Give me a yeah.
Yeah. And what a weekend it was, because it was SummerSlam weekend. And of course, we want to thank all the Maniacs who joined us for the live WWE SummerSlam watch along. It was one of our biggest streams. We had over 300 people when Roman Reigns showed up. We broke a record on stream, and it was just a great time.
Wild, bro. Fucking 300 people watching our stream all at once just for that reaction, dude. What a wild fucking pay-per-view. Shit felt like a fucking WrestleMania, and Raw felt like a Raw after Mania. We are definitely diving into all that juicy shit, dude. 3 hours, not one dull moment. First hour, commercial free. We got a lot to unpack this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, that watch along, like if you guys didn't check it out, highly recommend it. We had such a great time. We had everybody over here. The living room was sold out, just like SummerSlam in Cleveland. They were sold out. And what a great time it was. And I'm not going to lie, this week for me has been very kicked back. I haven't really been posting enough content, I feel like. Because the Best One Donnie channel, guys, on my toy channel, I was on like a 15-day streak. And yeah, that went right away, right after SummerSlam. Like my
He said,
content,
"Fuck a streak. I ain't the
I've
Undertaker."
only posted, I think, 2 videos this week so far. So
Yeah, that's a slow week.
grind is slow.
It's still real, just kind of slow at the moment, but it's real.
Yeah, it's very slow. There's a lot of recovery that's going involved here.
Oh,
because
especially
we
after
partied
SummerSlam.
hard over that weekend, man. It was great.
Shout out to our boy Dan too. He partied harder than the rest of us for the rest of us.
Dan the man and Dylan, which a
Dylan
lot of
was a
people,
treat,
believe
too.
it or not, like in my circle, thought that Danny Huckins was with us.
No.
I kept getting that the whole time. Everybody thought Dylan was Danny in the stream, which is not the case. Dylan, he's another fan. We Are Wrestling Maniac, who just happened to be free, and we had him and Dan the man come on over for SummerSlam.
It was
Great
fun.
time.
It was fun. It was fun having some new faces, on the fucking stream. Like we've known Dan and we've met Dylan a handful of times at Blitzkrieg, but it was nice having some new faces come over and come chill for the night. Really, really nice dudes. So it was a good time, man.
Definitely one of our most litest streams. I had so much fun. But besides that, just this week has been very kickback for me besides our weekend. How about you? How's your week been?
I mean, can't really complain. Like I've done my streams. A new Manson track got dropped, which is pretty fucking dope, and that one it was really successful. So I mean, it's been a pretty good week. Can't really complain. Got some stuff done. So productive. So I mean, we're gonna be moving the living room around after I get off this. So yeah, I would say it's been productive, but nice and relaxing.
Hell yeah, that's good. And sometimes it is good to have a nice little relaxing week. And pretty much that's my plan for the weekend. I got to play catch up and get back on my grind when it comes to We Are Wrestling content and my Best One Donnie channel. But with that being said, let's get into our highlight of the week this week. Ben, what's got to be your highlight of the week in the wrestling world?
SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw.
And honestly, I'm going to keep it nice and short as well. SummerSlam, Raw, which is basically like all we're going to be talking about in the recaps this week.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing that isn't a highlight of the week, and I'm going to take this time to just rant for maybe a quick minute. I'm going to pull a little CM Punk pipe bomb. So
Yeah, here. Put yourself on the screen. I got you. I'm listening.
I got a few things I need to get off my chest. And
Take it away.
starting things off, AEW, I am going to probably be doing a whole hot takes episode on this because I don't want to hear about the travel issues that happened this past Wednesday. Dynamite was fucking garbage this week. Complete garbage. And going into your biggest show, AEW All In, which I will be doing a live watch along for on the 25th of August, there was nothing that progressed anything except for MJF and Will Ospreay. Like Mercedes Moné, Britt Baker, they've lost all the momentum in the world with this feud. Friggin' Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May, their feud's been alright. But like, when it comes to like the build-up going into All In, I am beyond disappointed. And it just seems like AEW is really losing a lot of momentum and they can't catch a goddamn break. And I'm getting sick of it. I am getting sick of it. Dynamite was absolutely horrible. And I'm not going to lie to you, Ben. I might not be doing reactions moving forward for AEW Dynamite anymore.
I mean,
it's not worth it to me. Like, I'm still going to pay attention to the highlights and watch what I want to see and stuff, obviously, for predictions and talking about it here on the podcast. But sitting here on my setup, doing content for AEW, I feel like at this point is 100% pointless.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit on my couch and watch it.
So I'm gonna be dead. I'm just gonna be like super blunt with you there. I've been saying this shit for years. I'm at this point, if I were to say anything else, I'd just be beating a dead horse. But at this point, yeah, you are better off sitting on your couch, watching it, yelling at your screen or hype with your screen. Only react to the big moments that are heavily being talked about, because if they're heavily being talked about, heavily being praised, go out of your way for those things.
Oh,
but yeah, for Dynamite and shit, dude, yeah, Collision, all that shit, dude, yeah, don't even fucking bother, because at that point, you're breaking your back for nothing.
So I do have some good news, though, for the Maniacs, because they have been bothering me about this. On Wednesdays, I will start doing NXT reactions moving forward.
Ooh.
So I am pretty much replacing Dynamite with NXT. So that's the news I want to put out here for the highlight of the week.
Okay, so next question. Should I potentially possibly start watching NXT? Is it getting that hot?
It's getting really good. And even Danny Huckins, he even watches it now too. He's doing watch-alongs and stuff. Remember when he said he would never watch NXT because it's not black and gold? Look at him now. He's enjoying the product because it's getting better again, especially now with like the TNA and NXT crossover. I think it's definitely must watch. Like,
bro,
I'm wasting time. I should be doing content on NXT, then I should be doing AEW.
Have you seen the video yet? Before I got on here, I saw the video of Joe Hendry arriving to the arena, and people were all singing his song, and he was just like, "There's only one Joe, and that they believe in and shit." I'm like, dude is over as fuck right now. He is hot as fucking lava, dude. Like, this dude has a prosperous like career incoming, and basically already sold us on the fact that he will likely be facing John Cena on that farewell tour, and I want that. I want that.
I just remembered now that you brought up Joe Hendry. Yes. That's what I have going on this weekend. So
yes, go ahead.
The reason I'm not doing a SmackDown watch along as this video comes out or this podcast comes out is because I'm going to be out in Albany. I'm meeting Joe Hendry on Friday, so I'm excited.
Hell yeah, man. That's going to be great. Have you met Joe already or?
Nope, I have
this
not.
Your first?
And this is somebody I've been following, man, going all the way back to the UK.
Hell yeah,
Crazy.
dude. Are you about to see if you can get a shout out for We Are Wrestling?
I'm going to try, but I feel like there's going to be so many people at this event. It's pretty much already sold out. So I feel like I'm not going to be able to do something like that, but
we'll see if you can.
I might be marking out for Joe Hendry when I meet him.
Dude.
I'm going to be a mark.
Bro,
100%.
if you can, and we could put that in the intro, fuck Joe Hendry. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's going to be fun. You guys better have fun out there, man. Have an enjoyable time.
Oh, I'm going to have a great time. But now let's get into the power of the poll. Every week, we tell all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs that are listening or watching to go to the YouTube community tab and vote. We give you guys 1 week exactly to vote on our power of the poll. And last week, we pretty much talked about the SummerSlam power of the poll here, which the 2000s logo ended up whooping all the other logos' ass.
You already know.
But this week, for the power of the poll, we asked you guys probably one of the most stupid questions out there. Who's better, Jim Cornette or Vince Russo? Who do you think won this before we show the results?
God, that really is picking the lesser of the two evils there. I'm gonna say Vince Russo. Did he win? Well, should I give the drum roll?
You might as well do the drum roll.
All right.
And the results are 86% voted Jim Cornette.
Whoa.
And only 14% voted Vince Russo. So the Maniacs are more corny Cornette fans than they are Vince Russo brand.com.
Wow. Okay.
How do you feel about that, Ben? Do you agree with the Maniacs on this one?
Dude, honestly, like, I personally don't care because I don't fucking care about either of them. But at the same time, I'm like, would you rather some dude yelling in his microphone getting redder than the color fucking red? Or would you just rather listen to someone say, bro, a million fucking times? I'm honestly, I don't know who I'd choose there, realistically.
So for me, I think that the Maniacs are 1 million, jillion, bazillion % right on this one. Jim Cornette is better than Vince Russo. Like, Jim Cornette knows what he's talking about in his podcast. Vince Russo, literally all he does on his podcast is say, bro.
I'm telling you, bro.
And he lives off the Attitude Era, which wasn't even him 100%. Like,
but he
we're
thinks so.
going to forget
he's
that
on the
Pat
mask.
Patterson didn't have anything to do with it. Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon. We're going to forget about all these people. but he wants to take full credit for that. And he pretty much freaking shits on the business. Like, he's not even a fan of pro wrestling, yet he's sitting here making money talking about pro wrestling. I think that a lot of the takes that come from Vince Russo makes absolute no sense. And one of them, the big one for me, has got to be what he said about Cody Rhodes towards Mania season, saying that, because Cody Rhodes wears a suit, he's a heel.
Oh my fucking! Because he's more privileged than everybody else. Like, his vocabulary, it's so big, bro. Yeah, just like your fucking
the
vocabulary,
forehead, bro. This, bro. Like Jim Cornette, like I understand, like his
leave him alone, bro.
But like with Jim Cornette, I understand a lot of his critiques when it comes to pro wrestling nowadays, because a lot of the stuff that Jim Cornette does say, yes, I feel like he exaggerates a little too much. But obviously, he has listeners that want to hear him, complain about it in times 10. But at the same time, a lot of his beliefs, like, I can't argue with, because I feel like in today's wrestling, I feel like less is more, and I feel like they're doing more than they should a lot of the times in the ring. And I feel like that's why, like, I love MJF so much, because he has that perfect pace. He's focusing on his larger-than-life persona, his character, and I feel like a lot of that is missing in today's wrestling. I just think that Jim Cornette, he just knows his knowledge a lot more than Vince Russo. For crying out loud, Vince Russo was a magazine writer before becoming friggin' creative.
Yeah, and that, honestly, I'm surprised he didn't type bro a million times in all of his sentences on his magazine. Like, check this shit out, bro. It's the greatest shit you'll ever see, bro. Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro. It's fucking incredible, bro. I'm honestly surprised, but, it doesn't surprise me that he was a magazine writer before he, was a journalist for fucking sports.
Yeah, but, I gotta go with Jim over Vince. But one thing I do like about Vince Russo that I will put over is that he is outspoken. And that is something that I do respect. Yeah. Because he doesn't take shit from nobody. So I will acknowledge him for that, but he doesn't know his shit when it comes to pro wrestling.
Nope.
But this week, for the power of the poll, Jim Cornette whooped Vince Russo's ass. Next week's power of the poll, it's already up. So if you guys want to vote on it, go to our community tab. And the question, this one, I think is going to be a juicy one. I think that anybody can win this one. Who was the best heel during the Ruthless Aggression era? Ooh. And the 4 options that you do have are Triple H, JBL, Edge, or Randy Orton.
Jesus, fuck yeah, that's hard.
4 heavy hitters, but at least you guys get 1 week to vote, and we'll share the results next week on the We Are Wrestling podcast.
Out of everybody I hated the most, it was JBL.
Oh, me too, 100%. So with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly recap for the We Are Wrestling podcast episode 120.
Fuck.
Starting things off, let's talk about it. WWE SummerSlam 2024. People are saying that this felt like a WrestleMania. Ben, we've had a couple days to digest everything we watched. Let's talk about it.
It was literally a perfect 5 out of 5 fucking show, bro. That shit was a 5-star hitter, dude. Like, that is a must rewatch, must watch. Like, everything that happened in that show was just beautiful. It was perfect. It was cinema. We had 4 title fucking changes in one night, dude. We had interesting segments. We had fucking everything that I wanted to happen and how it was going to happen fucking happened. And clean sweep. Me and Ricky slam dunked that fucking night, dude. We called everything and it happened. And I've never, ever in my entire life called an entire pay-per-view right down the middle, and I was right. And it was a satisfying pay-per-view because not only was I able to finally do that in my entire wrestling fandom, but it was one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time, period. So yeah, dude, that was cinema. That was a pure masterpiece. Everybody came to work that night, dude. People were cooking. Triple H is fucking cooking. We are in a new goddamn era, And now it involves Roman Reigns all over again as a babyface for the first time in almost 4 fucking years, bro. And he is on God level, bro. This is going to be a juicy ass
Ben,
story.
relax a little bit. Roman Reigns, that's our main event topic for this week's episode.
He said, yo,
because
pump
I know
those brakes.
everybody wants to talk about him, so we're saving the best for last.
Let's do it. How'd you feel?
Let me share my thoughts on SummerSlam here real quick. Man, everything I wanted to happen happened for the most part. I was beyond happy to see Braun Breaker absolutely squash Sami Zayn in 5 minutes. I love that Nia Jax finally got her moment because she has improved so much since her second run with the WWE. LA Knight, even though in my predictions I had Logan Paul, I am not mad at all about him winning the championship. He's well-deserved. He's busted his ass for years to get to this point, and he finally did it. And then even getting the whole, like, Finn Balor turning on Priest. Wasn't expecting that to happen. Then even Liv and Dom, we already called that, which seeing it actually happen was amazing. And then just the Cody and Solo match was great.
Cinema.
Especially with the ending. Like,
Cinema.
man, overall, SummerSlam, everything I wanted to happen happened, and I couldn't be happier. Like, it was a great time, especially
Delivered.
because we had everybody watching. So even like all of us getting hype made me even get more excited going into the show. And
we set a record. And we set a record. And we set a record for the fucking the watch viewer count for the fucking main event, bro. We set a fucking record that night, bro, dude. Over 300 people tuned into the main event, dude. That is incredible for us, man. Like that was our moment, dude. Like I was very humbled to be a part of it. Like that was really cool. SummerSlam again, 5-star fucking pay-per-view. SummerSlam. Wow. SummerSlam 2024 is going to go in the history books of pro wrestling and WWE history, bro. Dude, I don't even the rest of the recaps are going to feel very minuscule compared to this, but I can't even say that because Raw was just as banging. Like, that is literally how you follow up a Big 5 PLE. That Raw is it.
Man, you know how long it's been since we've gotten a stacked Raw after a PLE? Like, even WrestleMania wasn't really that good.
Mid as fuck.
But
Mid as fuck.
This is how the big PLEs always need to be booked. This is exactly what I miss when it comes to these big pay-per-views and PLEs. I miss seeing the returns. I miss seeing friggin' new stars being made. I miss seeing some rivalries continuing, seeing some people go over from the SmackDown brand to the Raw brand, some NXT call-ups, people we haven't seen. And they gave us literally more than everything on this Raw after SummerSlam. It was perfect.
Dude, I'm just gonna say, man, like, we dipped our toes in with Raw, but tonight, y'all, we got Friday Night SmackDown, and the Tribal Chief is back. So I'm excited to see this shit after y'all be watching this.
Thing Saturday morning, or probably when I come home from Joe Hendry.
Hell
probably
fucking
be
yeah,
on
bro.
that and upload it early in the morning.
Stay off of everything.
I'm staying off of everything. My phone will be on Do Not Disturb. Trust me. I got long driving to do, so I won't even be able to pay attention.
Hell yeah, man.
So I am excited. But now let's talk about some of the new champions that we got in WWE this week, because there's a lot of new title changes. And starting things off, we got a new World Heavyweight Champion, Gunter, who has now defeated Damian Priest for the championship, thanks to Finn Balor. Over on Friday Night SmackDown, we also saw Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu beat DIY. Then we also got to see Braun Breaker defeat Sami Zayn in 5 minutes, absolutely squashing him like a bug. Then we also got to see LA Knight, win the United States Championship against Logan Paul. And then we also got to see a new WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax, winning the title without Tiffany Stratton cashing in her Money in the Bank. So let's talk about these new champions, Ben. How you feeling?
Oh, dude, it's literally everything I wanted. It was everything I wanted. Like, all the way down to the money. Like even Braun Breaker, like you said, squashing Sammy in 5 minutes, which again, I feel horrible because Sammy had so much fucking credibility built, and now I feel like he's just jobbing out again, which is horrible. And I feel like he's really kind of done everything he's gonna do in WWE right now. So he would be one of the beneficial ones to like eventually jump ship. But every other champion, Nia Jax, I've been preaching it for fucking months how I wanted her to fucking win, dude. Like she is so deserving. Like she has improved heavily in the ring. She is so much safer now. Even just the hype of right before she knew she was about to pin Bailey, dude. Just that fucking classic fucking just yell to the sky.
I didn't think they were
going to
pull the trigger, man. I was nervous. So seeing that actually happen, I was so happy for her.
Bro,
I really was. And I'm kind of glad that they didn't have Tiffany cash in because I think that we need to build the friendship up more with her and Nia.
Yes.
And then at the right time, she's going to get that massive babyface pop when she cashes in.
I think Tiffy might be cashing in somewhere between Rumble and Mania. Like I'll put that timeline out there, but yes, I agree
that's be a program for Mania.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that building up, taking time to build up the friendship, build up some heartstrings there, maybe some sympathy for Nia even, like, dude, what the fuck, Well,
one thing they could do, Ben, too, is they could even have them win the women tag team championships to even further the relationship too.
We'll get there when we get there, but
we got a long road ahead.
Yeah, we got a long road ahead, but super happy for her. Like I said, again, LA Knight, dude. Like I have been waiting for this because we thought this was going to happen at Mania. We were a little wrong. We were a little far off, but it happened. And my God, dude, like no one more deserving to put some prestige on that gold. LA Knight, man. That shit
more
literally
like a year and a half.
Dude, that dude makes that title
better late than never,
good.
Right?
Yeah, dude, like that title looks so fucking good on him. Like it was made for him. Like everybody that has carried that title since then, it just doesn't look right. That title was made for LA Knight. That design specifically.
Really good on him.
Like seeing him hold it for the first time while he was on the ropes, bro, was, dude, like again, like look at that thing. That thing is going to look gorgeous on him, bro. Like I am so fucking excited for this title reign because I see a Gunther fucking level title reign on him. Maybe a little bit more charisma and a little bit more like obviously audience appeal. But that dude is going to put prestige back on that US title the same way Chris Benoit did. Mark my words.
Here's one thing I do want to say too about that. I think with LA Knight's US championship run, I think that he's really going to elevate a lot of those mid-card guys over on the SmackDown brand that
I can't even believe we're talking about this.
That aren't turned into stars right now because I think like I could see a program with LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes, and I think that's only going to make Carmelo Hayes better. Let's talk about Santos Escobar, another guy that could use that LA Knight rub. Andrade. There's so many talented mid-card guys on SmackDown that I feel like just need that opportunity, and I think just getting that LA Knight charisma rub could really elevate some talent.
Keep going. No, we're cooking.
Let's go back to Gunter's Intercontinental Championship reign.
Come on. Yep.
He made Sheamus relevant again.
Yes.
With his title run. Drew McIntyre took it to to the next level.
Yes.
And all of it was because of that Gunter rub. And I think LA Knight is going to do the same exact thing to all the other mid-card guys. And this is what the SmackDown brand actually
needs. Talk your talk, baby. Yes, talk your talk. Absolutely, baby. You're absolutely on it.
Mic drop on that. So with LA Knight, I just think that overall, him being the United States champion, it's going to elevate other people. And I think that he's going to be one of the greatest United States champions to ever hold that title. I really think so.
Dude, like
as long
I said,
as Triple H and WWE booking, they have him being a defending champion going against a lot of these mid-card guys that need that touch. I think this run is going to be legendary.
Bro, I'm telling you this right now. Like I said, in conjunction with what you said, it's going to elevate a lot of these mid-card stars that need that push into a bigger scene, into a bigger program with a lot of these different superstars to get them the credibility to hopefully one day hold a world title. I'm super excited because I know for a fact Triple H has all faith in LA Knight because he has been one of the hottest superstars for over a year with no fucking signs of it slowing down. This dude is going to push this championship to the moon like Chris Benoit did. that shit is going to feel so prestigious. Like, again, I'm not even going to apologize for mentioning Chris Benoit's fucking wrestling. I'm not going to apologize for it because he was one of the greatest to do the sport. And that's all I'm going to mention when it comes to Chris Benoit. He made that shit prestigious in the Ruthless Aggression era. And when it came off of him, it felt like a gut punch. He was a defending
champion too around that time. Like
yes.
every Friday and Thursday on SmackDown.
I want LA Knight to do fucking speed runs like fucking Chris Benoit did and just see how fast he can put someone away.
Too, Ben. John Cena in the mid 2010s.
Yes.
Because he did have that United States Open Challenge every week.
And
he was able to elevate these talent.
Now
I want to talk about another champion because let me just say this right now, Ben. I'm just going to put this out there.
What's up?
Dude, Triple H, he might have gotten a little too excited here for SummerSlam because I swear WWE, they built the Avengers with all these new champions.
Yep.
They have built the Avengers with these champions. I think the only two champions that I could see changing pretty soon is the women tag and probably the Raw tag titles.
Yes.
But besides that, they got a fucking 1992 dream team right now.
Bro.
Full of champions. Like, I can't see any of these people losing the belts anytime soon.
No.
Probably holding them until Mania.
The only one that I might see dropping before that is probably Nia Jax's title. That's the only one I really see dropping. And maybe, fucking, like you said, the Raw titles. Those are like the only two titles I really see up for debate changing before Mania.
But I could see the women tag too, because maybe they'll want to give it back to Jade and Bianca eventually, or give it to a new tag team that they try to elevate. But honestly, like, now let me get into Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion, because this is going to be a fun
monstrous run.
And I can't wait to see what he does with the championship. I think that he's really going to add prestige to the title. Because, man, I think him and Ilya Dragunov, they're going to have a series of matches that are going to be
they've been foreshadowing it forever.
And I can't wait to see what happens there, because I could see eventually maybe Dragunov winning the IC title. Maybe even John Cena during the 2025 retirement tour. He might end up going after either Gunter for the world title or Braun Breaker, the title he's never won. So that's also another possibility. Brock Lesnar and Braun Breaker, I could see that happening because it's another title Brock Lesnar has never held before. And there's already reports coming out saying that Brock Lesnar, he is ready to go, and pretty much the whole lawsuit thing, like, he's already like out of it and everything.
He's cleared.
So he's cleared. But man, I think Braun Breaker, he's about to have a great run with that title too.
Motherfucker, I honestly see Cena facing Gunther more than I see him facing Braun, because I see fucking Brock facing Braun more than anybody. That is a match made in heaven.
Needs to happen.
Dude, can you imagine the F5 finales we're getting, along with a bunch of those tilt around the world fucking ring spears from Braun? I am going to fucking shit my pants when that match happens, because it's inevitable.
I'm not going to lie to you, Ben. I low-key hope Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar happens at the Survivor Series, because our buddy Will the Thrill will be here, just like he was for SummerSlam, and he's a Brock Lesnar guy. He had a Suplex City shirt on during SummerSlam, hoping Brock was going to show up. And I've listened to him talk a lot of shit in the mid-2010s about how great Brock Lesnar is, and I can't wait to watch Braun Breaker break Brock Lesnar's fucking ribs with that spear.
I see more of Brock Lesnar and Braun Breaker happening at Mania. I see that shit happening.
Oh, I know. I know it's going to probably happen then, but I'm just saying Will's going to be down from New Hampshire here.
It'd be a nice treat.
I would love to just be there and watch Breaker fuck Lesnar up. So
and just fucking get in his face.
I could just look at Will and just be like, your boy sucks.
Bro, no, just get in his face and give him the old Stone Cold while he's down on the ground having a heart attack. Just do the on the ground. Just get in his
do the little Brock Lesnar dance. So I'm hoping it happens at Survivor Series, but I already know it's probably going to be media. But I do want to talk about the last champions that we haven't talked about yet, and that is the new WWE Tag Team Champions, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Do not get me wrong here. I don't mind them being the tag champs, but I kind of wish they built more credibility as a tag team before getting the titles. I think DIY, they should have held the titles a little bit longer to add some credibility to it. And if they were going to change the titles, They had a 10-minute match on SmackDown. I don't see why this couldn't be at SummerSlam.
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you, and this might hurt you a little bit. Excuse me. But let's be honest. Who really gives a fuck about DIY, bro? Who really gives a fuck? I'm sorry, but nobody cares, man. Like, they're irrelevant as fuck after NXT Black and Gold and just NXT in general. Like, it's not working anymore, man. Like, they need to go their separate ways. Johnny needs to go somewhere else, like TNA, and I think fucking Tommaso needs to go on his own heel run on the main roster. I just don't think DIY is just it anymore.
Do you know why they're not it anymore, Ben?
Why?
It's because Triple H has not put any effort into his tag team division.
Bro,
I'm telling you, the reason DIY got over back in the day, the reason why friggin' the Revival got over back in the day was because Black and Gold NXT takeovers, the tag matches were some of the greatest matches on those cards. And man, DIY, I think if you put him on a PLE, both Johnny and Tommaso will show up. Look at Elimination Chamber not that long ago. I think Johnny Wrestling, he was in a chamber match, I think last year or this year.
Yeah.
And the man showed up. He had a great performance. Crowd was behind him. But then when you don't do anything with the person on Raw the next night or SmackDown on Friday, then they lose that momentum.
Yeah.
And I think with DIY, it's like you got to have, like, they're the type of talent that you have to showcase every single week on TV. There's a reason why Black and Gold NXT, they became the heart and soul of Black and Gold, because every week they made sure to showcase them multiple times on the show, and they would build the shows around them.
Yeah.
Because that's like in basketball, like pretty much you have an all-star player, and then you decide, oh, let's build around the young player and not the all-star. Then you're not going to get the best from the all-star player if you're building around the young guy. So, like, man, DIY, they just need to get booked better. And I think at the PLEs, if we can get the tag team champions on there, that will help a lot with their tag division, because there's so many great tag teams in WWE right now that deserve to be showcased.
Especially with the very soon returning Hardy Boys, you're going to need to step up that tag team game. You're going to need to step up, because they're going to be taking everybody for a whirl when they come back. You already know they're not just going to be on NXT. You know they're showing up on the main roster, too. You already know.
Of course, 100%.
You already know. They're the Hardys, bro. They're the Hardys. They don't just stick in one spot, man. NXT to elevate talent, but when they go to the main roster, well, they're going for Banger City. So I'm fucking stoked.
It's going to be interesting, because with the Hardys, I could see him going on like a part-time deal with WWE. Like, I don't see him going back full-time again. And I think they're going to sign legend deals, I think.
So I'm going to tell you this right now. I hope that when
They'll
they
be a special
debut,
attraction.
when they re-debut for WWE, I hope they pull an Armageddon 2006 or a fucking a WrestleMania 2017 where they came back out of nowhere in a ladder match. Like, I want a tag team ladder match, and I want them to come back in that. Like, I want some reminiscing. I want some reminiscing, bro.
I hear you. But now let's get into something that did happen at SummerSlam. Another We Are Wrestling recap. There's a video that's surfacing of CM Punk hugging Stephanie McMahon after his match with Drew. Knowing the history behind their issues, what's your thoughts on seeing that? Beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful seeing people grow. It's beautiful seeing some redemption on both sides. It's beautiful to see that even I still find myself going back and looking at the picture of when the night CM Punk returned and him and Triple H were in the back and it said all hell froze over. I still think that, man. Like, dude, we are in a land of disbelief where The Rock's coming back. John Cena's going on his tour again. CM Punk's under the same roof, so you know they're gonna have a rivalry again down the road. Fucking who else? Who the fuck else is back? Like, there's a shit ton of people that are from our childhood that are coming back and are under the same roof. Randy Orton is back. AJ Styles is here now. Like, AJ Styles and CM Punk is going to be nuts one day, bro. Like, I am so fucking excited to see something like that, because we never thought in a million years we'd ever see it again. So to see that happen again, dude, the only word for it is beautiful.
Definitely a whole heart moment, in my opinion. Like, especially knowing the history with Stephanie and CM Punk because of what happened with Triple H and him, going all the way back to 2011 when Triple H didn't want to put Punk over because of like egos and stuff. It is great to see them hug and just have that moment because like even I remember one time because after Punk left for like 3 years straight, fans were chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. And one of the times Stephanie McMahon got so pissed off that she pretty much like did a shoot and pretty much like shit on him during that time. And it's crazy to see like how far they've come. And I think it's great because it just seems like CM Punk is like having this redemption arc. And I remember a long time ago on the We Are Wrestling podcast, which I wish I knew what episode it was, but I even remember saying like, I think CM Punk going to WWE will happen. And I remember you and Danny at first were like, there's no way, like he already like burnt that bridge a long time ago. And then I even said, here's what I think is going to happen eventually. He's going to get sick of AEW's bullshit. He's going to realize that it's not the green grass isn't greener on the other side. And then he's going to go back to WWE and make amends with all the people that he had issues with. And now he's having that redemption arc. And this is what he needed for not only his personal life, but his career. And I am just, man, with CM Punk, it's great to just see him be in such a great headspace, helping out NXT talent, and also, you know, hanging out with Shawn Michaels and Triple H and really being a part of the team. And it seems like clearly like he doesn't have an ego going into this because back in the day, he hated that he had to do commentary and like he never wanted to host like a basically like before a premium live event. And even now too at CM Punk, he even put over Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Like he could have been like, no, like I need to win this, but he realizes that the story could be bigger if Drew McIntyre wins.
So all I can really say is that this is a completely a different era. There's been so much time in between. Everybody went out and explored their options. There's been a change of regimen. CM Punk was never the problem in the other company. And Triple H is a different person now. CM Punk is a different person now. Everybody went out and experienced what it was like on the other side. And everybody's grown. And there's nothing but positive vibes, and he is genuinely happy to be there. Happy as fuck. And honestly, it's refreshing.
And that's the big thing that Triple H, I think, really deserves his flowers for is he knows what it's like when it comes to like morals in a locker room. And one of his biggest goals when he took over this role in WWE with creative was we need to get the morals back because when you have the momentum, everything just is pretty much just smooth, like a nice little sail ship, like a friggin' ship. And Triple H right now, man, with the way that he has been operating things, with the way the politicking is and stuff nowadays, it seems like everybody's on the same page because Triple H actually gives a fuck about his talent. So the CM Punk, man, and Stephanie, never thought I'd ever see this, but it's great to see. And I'm glad somebody captured that moment. But moving on now to our next recap here, let's get into some Monday Night Raw because it was a stacked show. Lots of things that we need to talk about in this recap. So starting things off with the opening segment of the show, this past Monday, Randy Orton made a surprise appearance and challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at Bash in Berlin. Gunther accepted. What's your thoughts on this?
Brilliant. What a first person to have him fucking feud with. Randy fucking Orton, the original legend killer. This is going to obviously be Banger City. It doesn't matter how many string of matches they have. This is just going to add some credibility to Gunther into the World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, a match like that in Germany where, you know, Gunther grew up wrestling around the entire country, you know, like this is something big for him. And this is gonna really establish like where he is and what they're trying to build him as, and the rocket ship that they've put on his back since they pulled the trigger and put the IC title on him. Like this is 100% right now to stack credibility. Obviously, he's not dropping that shit for a while. He's going past Mania with that title, 100,000%. We're just gonna be seeing a lot of cool matches, and this is just the start of something really fucking big.
And that's the thing, man, too. And I actually just looked this up while you were talking about that. And Gunter, man, when it comes to his winning percentage, I'll share it right now with the Maniacs.
Yeah.
So Gunter signed with WWE since 2019. Since then, he's only lost 3 single matches clean in the past 6 years, and only lost one on the main roster. He has a 93.9 winning percentage.
That's fucking insane. That's almost like Undertaker level. It's like
And
Undertaker
that's the
level.
thing, man. Triple H has put a lot of stock into Gunter, and
He's an
it's paying
attraction.
off.
He's a pull, bro.
Like, I couldn't believe like what he did during his Intercontinental Championship run. He really
Massive.
brought so much prestige back to that championship. And the fact that now, like, we're going to be getting banger after banger with the World Heavyweight Championship, I'm excited about this. And I will say, Randy Orton showing up on Monday Night Raw was a surprise.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of questions that are going through my head with this. I feel like, okay, so now with Randy Orton, is this just a one-off for Bash at Berlin? And then is he going to go back to SmackDown with KO?
Likely.
And then eventually feud with Cody? Or is this going to be a permanent thing where he stays on Raw? So there's a lot of questions I have when it comes to that. But I will say, I think Randy Orton being Gunter's first opponent definitely does make sense. Even at King of the Ring, they had the wrong official call too, which I think they did purposely so that eventually when Gunter won the championship, it was him versus Orton, which, man, with Triple H's era, that's one thing I really like is that it's little details like that. Like, I'm not going to lie, going into Monday, I did not even pay attention to because of what happened with Orton and Gunter at King and Queen of the Ring. So the fact that Randy was able to get himself a rematch, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I really like this, and I think this is the perfect first opponent for Gunter, and I hope that they continue to give him bigger names, and he could just go on this dominant world championship run.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully my childhood hero, John Cena at WrestleMania, can become 17-time champion, because that would be great. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly recap. This past Monday on Raw, we saw the debut of Odyssey Jones, who's drafted to Raw like 2 years ago, and he came to help out Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. What's your thoughts on this long-awaited debut? 2 years, Ben. 2 years he's been in catering.
Okay. Well, obviously trying to add New Day member number 2 because Big E's not coming back, and I feel like that had a lot to do with it. 2, Xavier Woods didn't seem which was obviously an incoming heel turn. This is basically what that is, and I think he's going to be a big part into what happens with Final Testament and shit, and I think that's going to be like their first big thing. Impressive debut on Raw, 100%. It garnered a lot of fucking social media attention. So I mean, hey, there's what's there not to be excited about? Another big guy that can go. So I'm excited.
Man, I always say timing is everything, and I think they picked the perfect time for Odyssey Jones to debut. And he was actually like somebody I was thinking about because with the new Judgment Day, like I thought maybe they would bring in like a big monster because now that Priest is gone, I feel like they kind of need that. And I thought Odyssey Jones could have been an option there, but I'm kind of glad that they waited because I think like in like a New Day role, I think Odyssey Jones can fit perfect. Like he already has the energy, and especially, man, the social media buzz that he's gotten because of that double sidewalk slam looks incredible.
It
like,
really
that
does.
was a massive pop. Like, look at everybody in that freaking crowd, man.
Yeah, dude,
All
everybody's
on their feet.
yeah, dude, everybody's going fucking nuts in that shot, dude. Yeah, it was impressive.
And I will say this also, I kind of like this because, yes, like, it sucks that Big E is hurt and, like, he's never going to be able to get back in the ring again, but we need to move forward. And the New Day, they were very marketable. It was great during its time. Some of us weren't fans of it. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I think they need something new. And I think Xavier Woods becoming a heel, maybe with Final Testament, could be the right move for him. And I think, like, it'll be something different with him. Because I know WWE has tried the heel thing with Xavier and it just never worked.
I think this one will.
And I think maybe him leaving, Kofi Kingston, Odyssey, and then maybe add somebody else to, like, the New Day, I think could definitely be something interesting.
Yeah.
But Odyssey Jones, man, definitely impressed me. He really took the time in catering to get himself prepared for this big moment. So I'm so happy for him. Finally, he gets his moment. But moving on now to our next weekly recap here. This past Monday on Raw, Bronson Reed took out Seth freaking Rollins with 7 tsunamis. According to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Rollins and Kai are both dealing with legit injuries. The segment with Reed was a way for the storyline to cover the injuries. Seth is not in a bad situation, though. He is clear to wrestle, but pretty banged up. So WWE thought it was a good time to take him off of TV to take some time off. There's no words if he'll be back for the pay-per-view against Reed. What's your thoughts on Big Bronson Reed getting this opportunity?
It's long overdue. Long overdue. Obviously, this is somebody that we've been, obviously eyeing down for greatness for some time. I think it's honestly kind of awesome that, we're finally getting some kind of main event star, matches. Seth Rollins is obviously the illegitimate face of the company. Like, let's be real. This dude's been the workhorse for the company for the last decade. So having him go against somebody of the likes of Seth Rollins is about to elevate the fuck out of this man. We're about to turn him into a main event star because of this. So having him take him out with 7 tsunamis it was brilliant. And then to sell the fucking blood coming out of his mouth. Last time I saw that shit happen is when fucking Billy Kidman kept doing the shooting star press to London while he was trying to get shipped out in No Mercy 04. Like, that was the last time we saw some blood from internal injuries like that from a high risk maneuver. So I'm really stoked on it, man, and I'm excited to see where they're going to bring Bronson from here.
Man, it's about time that they gave him this push, and it seems like things that we've been asking for here on the We Are Wrestling podcast for the last year and a half, they're finally giving it to us. And all it took was SummerSlam 2024. Because with LA Knight, we've been asking for it for over a year and a half. Big Bronson Reed, we've been asking for this for over a year and a half. And our old co-host here on the podcast, Danny, he's been trying to see this happen for the last 4 years. So I feel really happy for him. But man, this is how you create new superstars. Larger than life superstars. You need to put guys like Bronson Reed in situations like this because then you are going to have the attention of the WWE universe. And in this situation at first, you can hear the crowd. They were quiet. And then through more tsunamis Bronson Reed was doing, the crowd was like, oh shit, this is getting good. And then when you think it's over, oh shit, another tsunami. And then it just continues and continues. More referees, more security coming out. I think the only thing that was missing in this was police officers. They should have arrested him. That would have been perfect. But the fact that they turned him into a legitimate star now, man, Monday Night Raw is just getting even more stacked.
Hell yeah.
We got Randy Orton now back on Raw. Now Bronson Reed is going to be a top heel on the Raw brand. I'm excited to see where this goes, but I hope this does pay off for him because, like, I don't want this to be like a Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins feud where Shinsuke, they turn him heel and then he loses to Seth Rollins 3 times. I feel like if they're going to have Bronson feud with Rollins, you need to at least have Bronson Reed beat him the first time
Oh yeah.
to really show like the challenges. And then you can have Seth Rollins get the big win after that and then move forward. But Bronson Reed, man, they finally turned him into a star. The Tsunami thing has already been over. His presentation is over. He can talk as well. That's another positive with him. It was just a matter of who we were going to put him in the right picture with. And I think Rollins is the perfect first like big feud for Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. But moving on now to our last We Are Wrestling weekly recap. This past Monday on Raw, Chad Gable revealed the new name of his faction, which is called American Made. What's your thoughts on the new name and the main event, of course?
Stupid. One, fucking stupid. I hate the name, but I like the new theme song and the fact that they're already inputting the Kurt Angle fucking "You Suck" chant to it, and the fact that he's already reacting to it just like Kurt Angle did, where he's like looking around the crowd like, "What the fuck you say? What? Like
2000s Kurt.
they literally, if you listen to his new song with American Made, it is literally the same tempo and almost the same cadence as Kurt Angle's song. Like, it's literally, they are making Chad Gable the modern day Kurt Angle, and it's so fucking organic. I think that this is, again, the second coming of World's Greatest Tag Team, too, with the Creed brothers. So, like, it's working very organically, and nobody's claiming ripoff, and it's not. It's its own thing, and it's just working, you know? I hate the name, though. Fucking hate the name. Hate it.
American Made. I actually kind of dig it, actually. I'm not even going to lie.
It's so fucking generic. It's so fucking generic, bro.
I will say, though, that is one thing that I'm hoping that the Creeds, they could stop being very bland. Because they're very talented in the ring, but I feel like there's just something missing with them. And I feel like once they find that, then this thing can really take off. Gable is starting to become his own, which is great to see. Reminds me of like a nice like rookie Kurt Angle, because like old Kurt Angle like had that like snotty attitude like Chad Gable does. So I really see a lot of that in him. And I think like they have something good going on. And I think the fact that they were the first feud for the new Wyatt 6, I think was perfect as well, which I got to say, that was a great Raw like debut for the Wyatt 6.
Yeah, dude. I'm surprised you didn't even.
Joe Gacy looked great,
dog. I'm surprised, and honestly, I'm just gonna say this on record. I'm high key disappointed in you. How the fuck is this something we're talking about right now about someone's dumb fucking stable name, but we're not talking about the in-ring debut of Wyatt 6? I am so fucking disappointed in you.
Oh, come on. I'm not the producer of this show.
Give me a fucking break. I'm so disappointed in you, dog. How are we talking about someone's dumb fucking stable name when we could be talking about the lit fucking debut of Wyatt 6 that involved the fucking stable? Like, why weren't we just talking about the match?
I kind of wanted to, I knew that was going to get you a little riled up, so that's why I kind of did that. I love stirring the pot. I love ruffling your feathers.
Motherfucker. Oh
I
my
knew
God.
you were going to say something like that. I was prepared. American Made!
But yes, to answer your question, though, I enjoyed the in-ring debut. It was authentic. The fact that they used Shatter, by Code Orange, like it
cool.
was having Uncle Howdy sit in the rocking chair and just watch the match like Bray Wyatt did when the Wyatt family took over for a 6-man tag, and just watching Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis and fucking Eric Rowan all paying homage to fucking Luke Harper, Brody Lee, and fucking Bray Wyatt by their signature shit they did. Like, again, Joe Gacy doing the flip on the fucking ropes upside down.
That
Big pop.
Beautiful.
Big pop. Fucking Dexter Lumis crawling around the way he was, and just like the way that he just looks empty. This, like, late in the game, I need to fucking comment on Dexter Lumis real quick and give him his flowers. It is very rare that someone can take their fucking wrestling style and their skill set and their move set this late in the game and change it completely and make it look completely authentic. This late in their career deserves big fucking ups. Absolutely. That dude completely transformed for this role in the fucking Wyatt Six. Completely,
Well,
not even just physically, but his entire essence of who he is as a wrestler.
Well, let me tell you, man, I have always been very high on Dexter Lumis, going all the way back to the Samuel Shaw stuff that he did in Impact Wrestling.
And he was in
like
NWA for a
heel at
while
the
too, right?
time, and like he was like stalking Christy Hemme and stuff. Like he was doing some amazing work. And with WWE, like he had a lot of momentum in NXT with the whole Indy Hartwell thing, which worked really well. But then going to the main roster, he had a good thing with the Miz, and then after that, kind of got lost in the shuffle because you couldn't really do much with his character. But
Yeah.
with like the mysteriousness of the Dexter Lumis character, it fits perfect in the Wyatt Six. And I
Yep.
could definitely see him and Joe Gacy eventually winning the tag champions.
I think that's where they're aiming. I think that's where they're aiming for. Eventually, they're going for all the gold, bro. I think that eventually, Sister Abigail over here is about to get herself a shot at the fucking world title eventually too. Like we're gonna get some crazy
Ooh.
shit.
I don't think she's going to go for the world title. You know what I think Sister Abigail's going to go for?
What?
I think she's going to go for the women tag champs. I think Alexa Bliss is going to join.
If that happens, then yes. But until then, it's world title because she's still the only chick in there.
But that's the thing that makes it so difficult, though, in this time and age for WWE is that there are so many talented people from both Raw and SmackDown, and there's only so many championships, which is, I think, why, like, in the Attitude Era, they did have more championships. Like, they brought in the Hardcore title, the European Championship. And I think eventually I could see, like, WWE bringing in another either mid-card champion or even a trios title at this point, because, dude, I'm looking at all these freaking groups on Raw and SmackDown, and tell me not, there's a lot of six-man tag matches that have been happening under Triple H. It could work.
There has been.
But do I see it happening? Probably not. Because
Never
I think
say
Triple
never,
H,
but slim to none right now.
yeah, slim to none. I'm kind of with you on that. But I thought the debut was fantastic.
Phenomenal.
They all looked great, and just a special moment. You could definitely tell that Wyndham and Brody are just looking down. They're smiling.
God, yeah.
What a beautiful line by Michael Cole to end off Raw, too. I do want to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, overall, that episode, oh, my goodness. We went into, like, a whole hour talking about SummerSlam and Raw. That is, like, why, if you haven't watched SummerSlam or Raw and you're, like, hiding under a rock this past week, you better get that television plugged in and go watch both of those, because to me, it was some of the best stuff under Triple H so far in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But up next, we have our comment of the week, and of course, the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast episode 120.
What's up, everyone? This is Matthew Riddle, the king of bros. I just want to say, if you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Saturday, November 16th at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. We Are Wrestling is returning to the Wrestling Classic 5.
Zombie Hideout and Captain's Corner is putting together a lineup full of wrestling legends and Hall of Famers you have the opportunity to meet.
Some of the big names you can meet includes good old Jim Ross, JBL, Shelton Benjamin, Donovan Dijak, Deborah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and many more stars to be announced.
We Are Wrestling will be selling exclusive merchandise you can only find at the Classic, and for the very first time, we'll be recording a special bonus episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
We highly encourage the We Are Wrestling Maniacs to come to our booth and hang out with us. You can interact and meet the best one, Donnie, Ben, and Ricky Knows Best.
This will be the best wrestling classic yet, and it will all be happening on Saturday, November 16th at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass.
Get your tickets now at www.zombie-hideout.com. We're back, and on Saturday, November 16th, we'll be at the Wrestling Classic 5. We hope you guys enjoyed the little teaser there. So many awesome wrestlers that are going to be there, and it's going to be one of the best classics. Plus, next week, We Are Wrestling, we have a massive announcement that we're going to be making here on the podcast, and it's something huge, something that we never thought we were going to do, but I can't wait. I'm excited, but can't share any news yet. It's pretty much 99% locked in right now, but all we're waiting for is the graphic to confirm everything. But that's all we could say about that. So the Wrestling Classic, if you're looking to have a fun time in the Western Mass area, meet some wrestlers, come to the We Are Wrestling table, hang out with us. Saturday, November 16th. It's going to be a good time. But now, Ben, I'll let you take it away.
All right, guys. Every week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we have this segment called the Comment of the Week. And this comment of the week is on our Roman Reigns returns at SummerSlam main event reaction. And the comment is from Ronald Jones 4831. And I quote, "The dude in the red shirt is funny. He looks like he's scared to react. It's like he reacts and then he looks around to see if anybody sees him."
Cam Van Dam! Creepy Cam!
He's like, "Did anybody see me freak out? Oh my god, I was like, I look stupid." Dude, it's just so funny because all of us are fucking screaming grown-ass men jumping the fuck around, and this dude's just sitting there like dumb fucking stiff, just looking around at us like judging us. Like, bitch, jump, move, fart, do something. Shit was so funny. Dude, it was like,
that's
he was
the
just so
because
still.
here's the thing. Here's the thing with Cam, and I always be telling him this, okay? He overanalyzes everything. And I try to tell him
he doesn't. That dude will walk in the middle of this crowded street in Boston, but he won't fucking rage out in the comfort of someone's home.
But I'm talking about when it comes to like watch-alongs and like watching sports or whatever it is when it comes to that. Because Cam will always say like, I think this is going to happen. And then instead of having fun, he'll sit there and he'll just be like Rene Dupree.
Oh yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. And then he'll just go back to doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised. Cam I feel like he like knew it was going to happen. So that's probably why he wasn't surprised. But like, come on, Cam. You are a maniac. You should be excited to see Roman Reigns back. What the fuck?
Don, we are living in a very strange world in 2024 where Ricky is fucking literally standing up screaming and punching air where fucking Cam is stiff as hell. It's a weird flipped fucking world and I don't know how comfortable that makes me.
That was kind of scary me, man. But what was the other comment too that was on there? Because I know there's like another one too.
It was basically the same thing. It says the dude in the red shirt. It's like, I don't see what the big deal is. Like, it's basically the same thing. You know, like the other one was just so detailed that one needed to go in just because it was fucking hilarious.
Hey Ben, can I ask you something?
What up?
So, one of our other reactions that went viral years ago. You got all the comments were about you. Remember that? How does it feel this time around? It's not about you. It's about Cam.
Dude, it's so nice to like, get clout for the right reasons and not the wrong ones.
Yep, I feel like soon we're gonna be getting Cam with like shades and stuff like you were doing for a little while.
Yeah, we needed to get him to heel Cam because maybe he'll actually say fuck.
So Cam, here's my little lesson to you. I'm giving you a free lesson right now. I understand you're the new kid here. You're the new kid. You're the rookie.
New kid on the block.
But you have a lot of learning to do because when you're on camera, one thing I've learned, and today as we're recording this, I've been on YouTube for 15 years now. And when you're on camera, you can't just sit there and do this, Cam.
Nope.
You need the times 10. And we've seen you freaking outgoing, freaking running the streets in Boston, just being outgoing at the classics and stuff.
Getting caked up at Blitzkrieg.
I don't know what the hell is going on with you, Cam, at SummerSlam, but you need to wake up.
Yeah, dude got ready to jump in the pool, didn't even go in for 2 hours.
I am so glad that they woke Cam up in this situation here. I'm glad. Hopefully, Cam, you learn from this. But that was a great comment of the week.
Absolutely, guys. So thank you so much to our comment of the week. And if you guys want to get your comment featured on this week's comment of the week or our segment of comment of the week every week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, all you got to do is drop a juicy comment on either our YouTube videos or any videos or content across social media.
Well said. So now, with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Starting things off, the Lucha Bros to WWE. According to Fightful, there has been discussions about bringing the Lucha Bros into WWE. Those smoking believe that the Lucha Bros want to be a package deal and don't want to go to NXT. Should WWE sign the Lucha Bros? Which right now WWE is showing a lot of interest in them.
Yeah, absolutely. As we all know, Rey Mysterio is out the door soon. We need some reinvigorating masked stars to fill some shoes that I don't know they're going to be able to fill. They're going to have to be their own person. But we are lacking that, and we need a saving grace because Sin Cara was a fucking train wreck. So we need something going on with WWE and their masked wrestlers. And I think these two guys, Rey Fenix, and I forgot the other guy's name escapes me.
Penta.
Penta, exactly. Fucking Adam Copeland just faced him on AEW not too long ago, maybe like a month ago or so. I really think that this would be a really good poll. And if booked right, we could be seeing a really, really good tag team, and we can also be seeing some really, really good in-ring competition coming to WWE. So it's exciting.
That's the thing I will say, because I've been following their careers for quite a while, and honestly, like, I'm a little scared that they're not gonna fit in WWE well. Like, yes, Triple H is more accustomed to the rules and stuff when it comes to a lot of the in-ring stuff. Like, you're able to do more moves than you're normally able to do. But I just feel like with the Lucha Bros, I feel like they're not going to be able to do as many super kicks like they do with like slapping their freaking thigh, and they're not going to be able to do like 1,000 Canadian destroyers. And that's one thing, like the reason they fit perfect in AEW is because AEW focuses more on the in-ring stuff. But now the question is, Ben, can they get over with the main roster crowd with their character work, their personalities? And I feel like that's something that I feel like they're going to struggle with in WWE if they go right to the main roster. So I think they really have to do this right.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to AEW, I mean, like, as you know, it's more like, combat based, like they do a lot more in-ring shit, but
that's literally
have
like
to agree
all
with
the
you.
Lucha Brothers do.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that scares me about them going to WWE.
And again, promos and character work is a very big thing in WWE. So it's like, yeah, you have interest in their in-ring, but we're gonna have to really crisp one of them up to at least be the fucking spokesperson, or at least put a good fucking mouthpiece on them or something. Think of something, but do not let this sink.
And that's one thing with AEW, I will say, having Alex Aprehante, having him with the Lucha Brothers has really helped them a lot throughout their AEW run. But I will say, like, it also does surprise me, being an AEW Day One fan, that the Lucha Brothers are interested in leaving AEW for WWE, because, like, they're, like, one of those cases where I don't think AEW did a bad job with booking them. I think that they were booked pretty well throughout their AEW run. I will say, though, like, with the WWE Tag Team division, they definitely could use the Lucha Brothers, absolutely. But now, like, if you're going to continue to have these tag team matches on, like, Raw and SmackDown, and, like, you're not even going to have them on PLEs and stuff, then it's like, what's the point of giving these guys big money? Because I did hear that WWE is, like, willing to give them the same money that AEW is offering right now. So the Lucha Brothers are going to get paid regardless where they go.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's definitely interesting. It definitely threw me off guard because of their style. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. I think it will be interesting. But moving on now to our next weekly news and rumors. This past Tuesday before NXT, Shawn Michaels made an announcement that the first 2 episodes of NXT on the CW will be hitting the road to Chicago on the 1st, with CM Punk appearing, and St. Louis on the 8th with Randy Orton appearing. AEW is already scheduled to have Dynamite on those Tuesdays, going head-to-head with NXT. What's your thoughts on this news?
Good. AEW deserves to get buried. Boom.
Oh my goodness.
We could go on the same fucking tirade for
I
fucking
know.
millenniums, bro. So
know,
again,
Ben.
AEW, it's been in their ballpark for a while now. Like the ball's been in their court for a while, and it's just been sitting there. So there's not much more I can comment. I mean, at this point, it's like they deserve the verbal spanking until they fucking do something.
And that's the problem, man. Like if AEW wants to get over this ratings hump, they gotta realize that like you can't just focus on the in-ring stuff. You have to focus on storytelling and storylines, because that's how you sell a fight. That's how you sell a pay-per-view, is storytelling. And something AEW is struggling with really bad the last couple of years since CM Punk left is the storytelling side of it. And I think the CW, man, NXT, they're going to take off. And I think them hitting the road, I actually really do like this for them, because they have a hot crowd in Florida, but NXT has definitely evolved the last year or so. And I think like they definitely should be going on the road, traveling, and giving these superstars more opportunities to see what it's like going into this town or this city.
Yeah.
Because you could definitely learn a lot more than being stuck in the same crowd. Like, let's say, for example, I have the best example right here. Chase University. They're very over in the NXT crowd, which I know there is some PLEs that NXT has done, and they've been over with those crowds, but can they get over every week in like a Chicago or a St. Louis? I think it's going to be a challenge for them, and I think if you're getting yourself prepared to go to the main roster and be wrestling at Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, you need to pretty much be prepared for those challenges. And I think traveling, going and being in front of new people is going to be a challenge itself. And I think this is going to be great for a lot of the young talent.
I agree.
And I think starting it off, man, having CM Punk and Randy Orton, man, that is a brilliant marketing move right there.
Yeah.
But moving on now to our next weekly news and rumors. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer shared an update on Fatu's potential injury and stated that I was told that Jacob Fatu was hurting, but was also told that it wasn't that bad. I don't know if that means missing time. I don't know the whole aspect of what everything is, what they're going to do with the tag titles and everything. But the idea was to avoid any interaction with him and Roman Reigns. So that part was there. He was supposed to be selling outside the ring from the table thing. Do you think WWE should have, when do you think WWE should have a face-off with Jacob and Roman? Because it seems like it's going to be huge, and I feel like they're going to kind of wait and sprinkle it in a little bit.
I'll tell you right now, and this is probably how it's going to go down. It's inevitable. Obviously, you got to build up War Games, which is going to be the Bloodline Civil War. That's a given. He's going to have his first interaction with Roman during Bad Blood versus Solo Sikoa, and I think that's where Solo's going to get the win over Roman because of Jacob Fatu. And then they're going to be able to properly build up the Civil War for fucking War Games.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see like what happens exactly here with Fatu and Roman, because I think it is something that you definitely have to like make sure it's the right time. You don't want them to really go head to head right away. I think having a couple stare downs leading up to like Bad Blood will be a cool thing. But I feel like getting that first like action, I think has to be Bad Blood, and Solo pretty much like finds a way, he escapes and beats Roman, because I think that'll add a lot of credibility to Sikoa. But man, they do have until basically November to build up this War Games match. And the thing that I'm very curious to see what's going to happen is, when will Sammy and Jay go over to SmackDown? Because like I thought like we were going to get it like tonight on SmackDown, but like from seeing like the way that they were talking backstage on Raw, it seemed like Sammy's still trying to get his Intercontinental title, which he has a shot next week. And then Jay is trying to become tag champs with Sammy against the Judgment Day.
So I'm going to tell you this right now. Jay's likely coming back tonight. Jay's likely coming back tonight with Paul Heyman because obviously Roman's not going to be alone. Because obviously the bloodline, Timu bloodline, they are 100% going to surround Roman. Like, Solo's not coming out by himself. We know that for a fact. So obviously he's going to have some backup. I don't see Jay getting involved until closer to Bad Blood to eventually, officially, extend their hand and ask for his help, or whether Jay just decides to help on his own and take Sammy with him. Because Sammy, I think, is going into that bloodline story, which is another reason as to why it wasn't really a big deal that he lost his IC title, because the story he's about to embark on is going to have bigger purpose. So I think the story that he's going towards is this new bloodline story with Roman, with all babyface bloodline, including the honorary Uce. So I think that this is 100% where it's going.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like thinking about it more and more, and I think eventually when it gets closer to Survivor Series, I feel like that's when we're going to get Sammy and Jay. They're going to go into Adam Pearce's office when Roman Reigns doesn't have control of like the situation against the new bloodline. And I think that's when Jay and Sammy are going to say, like, we need to go and help our boy, or make some type of Easter egg to where like we get what they're saying, but like they don't tell us exactly what they're doing. And then they show up on SmackDown, because I could definitely see like maybe the upcoming PLEs where it is SmackDown and Raw, we get that segment with Roman and Jay, Roman trying to get Jay and Sammy back with him.
Yeah.
And then maybe Jimmy will be like the first one in line with Roman, because obviously
He
he
will
got
be
written off by Sokola. But I think eventually like it'll be more towards Survivor Series that we get that. But man, I feel like we need to get a Fatu versus Roman match in here somewhere.
Yeah,
And
but
that
that's
should
going to
be
be
a PLE
after.
match.
That's going to be after the War Games,
After
100%.
War Games, you think?
Because I think, again, 100%, they're going to have Solo and Roman are going to have their match at Bad Blood. That is when the first interaction with Fatu and Roman's going to happen, because that's going to absolutely establish the enforcer role for fucking Jacob Fatu. That's going to be what stops Roman from winning the match. That's going to be who costs him. Then that's when we're going to be like, okay, well, now clearly we need backup. And that's when they're going to extend their hand to Jay, because all of those pieces are going to fall in line by War Games, because we're getting the Civil War at War Games. But that's how you build it.
Definitely. And I feel like the WrestleMania build, I could definitely see Fatu and Tama Tonga holding those titles, and they probably will go against the Usos or something.
Oh, yeah.
I could see.
Abso-fucking-lutely. And that's when the Usos are going to take that shit back.
But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, because I think tonight on SmackDown, what Roman Reigns is going to say, that's going to be like the next step in this direction, because we don't know if like Roman and Solo will face each other at Bash at Berlin, because we do have that PLE coming up. And then I believe after that is Bad Blood. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens there. But moving on now to our next weekly news and rumors. Recently on the Gorilla Position podcast, Bryan Danielson was asked if part of him regrets leaving WWE before Triple H took over creative. If things changed when he was there, would he have stayed? And Bryan Danielson said, no, not at all. No, I think how I view it is, obviously, things have changed for the better there. But how I view it is, one, I've had an incredible time doing what I'm doing, and there are a lot of people who, and I think I'm the one of these people who prefer to style in AEW. It's more wrestling focused as opposed to the drama focused or whatever it is. But I like the idea that there's an alternative. And one of the things I really put through into what I want to do as far as leaving WWE, I was never somebody who disliked WWE. I never tried to say anything bad about them, but one of the things I really wanted was to precipitate in this thing that makes wrestling industry better for everybody involved. And I think the fact that AEW exists is better for all of us. Do you agree with Bryan Danielson's take?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That there's nothing wrong with what he said. That is not only staying classy and professional like we know he is, that he's he has a preference like everybody, and where he's at is where he's happy, and it doesn't matter about a change of regiment. He wanted to do things that he could not do in WWE. That just wasn't, it had nothing to do with the leadership. It had everything to do with the product, and he wanted to go out and explore the alternative, and it is more wrestling based. He wants to just go in and kick someone's ass. He doesn't want to talk about it for 3 months and then finally be able to do it and not even win. So it's like, I get it, I don't disagree with anything he said. He was completely respectful. He was, just stating what, his beliefs were and why he did it. And we got everything answered. So no, I think everything was spot on.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I think Bryan Danielson was 150% professional in this. And one thing, like, I really do have to acknowledge when it comes to AEW stars is handling the media, because I feel like being an AEW guy has to be a lot harder than being a WWE guy when
Oh,
it
fuck
comes
yeah, it is.
to doing podcasting and interviews, because especially guys like Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Miro, Keith Lee, all of these guys are going to continue to get asked about WWE and what they're doing. Oh, now that Triple H is here, do you wish you did this or did that? And obviously, like, you have to be a professional at the end of the day, which Bryan Danielson, one of the most professional when it comes to being in the ring and outside the ring. I think that he definitely said it. And that's the thing a lot of people have to realize is AEW isn't a competition to WWE, but they definitely give you an alternative. They give guys an opportunity where they're stuck, not doing anything. Like Adam Copeland, for example, he wasn't happy with doing just a couple matches and a PLE and then being away for like another 90 days and then coming back 90 days later. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to work more on a full-time schedule. And that's the thing. Like with WWE, there's only so much talent that are there. And sometimes when you become less relevant, you have to go out there and test the waters. Like, look at what Nick Nemeth is doing right now outside of WWE. Mustafa Ali is another great example. Like, you have to pretty much go out and bet on yourself and add some credibility. And I think the one thing that wrestlers and I think fans are going to appreciate 10 years from now is what AEW did for the professional wrestlers. Because I think AEW is a great place for somebody to start and kind of build some credibility and then go off to WWE and take off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we're going to see a lot of AEW people head over to WWE, but it's only a matter of time. But I got to give credit to Danielson. That was very well said. But now, moving on to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. According to Pro Wrestling Nexus, WWE have discussed taping WWE Raw on Sundays following international PLEs. The new format would give more talent more time to recover rather than flying and rushing straight back into TV. The idea isn't approved or cleared yet. What's your thoughts on WWE doing this like during international PLEs?
I think it's fucking genius. Like, because people, not only with flights and everything, shit goes wrong all the time. And then you got a last minute scurry and fucking find out a plan B. And two, it allows them to just do it and tape them and then just go home and recover for a little bit until it's time to do live next week. And you got to also think about the live shows they do in between. So this is honestly better for the wrestler's health. Like Triple H is, again, thinking about his talent and thinking about the logistics. Dude, this is what makes WWE a place you want to work. He thinks about these things. This is something he's giving. Again, this coincides with where his regimen was and where Vince's was. Vince just wanted to go, 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 go. Now people are making home for birthday parties, weddings, funerals, births of their children, shit like that, holidays. Like, we didn't get this before for them. So this is just boosting the morale, saving a shit ton of money, giving the wrestlers more time to travel without having to have stress and anxiety if you're going to even make it back to the fucking States in time, and then have any time to just fucking, get past the jet lag, sleep a little bit, hit the gym, eat, then hit the fucking center, do the show, and then off to the next town. Like, that's stressful as fuck. So implementing this is just thinking about your talent. And again, hats off to Triple H.
And another thing too that you forgot to mention too is I think that this is going to make WWE more money at the end of the day because
You're
the
saving
international
it,
crowds
too.
are hot. And the fact that you're going to give them a Friday night SmackDown before the PLE, then you're going to give them the PLE on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Monday Night Raw. I think that that is brilliant marketing because a lot of the
Yes.
times when it comes to these international PLEs, like they don't really travel often to these countries. And I think that they're giving, man, this is great overall. Like you're going to continue to expand your international fans and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be even better for the talent, which is the most important thing. So, man, Triple H,
Bro,
I love what he's doing here when it
he
comes
made
to
it.
morales.
He made it also a 3-day event for whatever country they're going to. You get it's like you get they can start making more money on package deals too, like a 3-day package deal for all the shows. Maybe even for people flying in, like a hotel room and also transportation. Like there's a lot of things you could do
Yeah,
package wise, so that's so much more money, and you're saving it.
you're also saving money too because if
Yeah.
you're going to have the talent stay out Sunday to pretty much do what they got to do, they can just take a plane back home instead of going to Raw and then having to travel again back home. So it makes
Mhm.
more logical sense doing this. And yes, I prefer a live show. And I know some of the maniacs are probably like, don't you prefer the live show? Of course, we would rather a
But this
live
is
show.
once in a while.
But think about it too from this perspective. Because I will say this, it is so weird having a PLE on a Saturday and then not having Raw the next day. Because I'm so used to growing up where pay-per-views were on Sundays and then immediately you had Raw, which was like less than 24 hours after. So I
Yeah.
think like the feels are going to be there more if they do something like that. Because let's say something crazy happens like at SummerSlam and we don't have an extra 24 hours to be like, oh, okay, like we haven't like immediately we're going right into it and we're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, here we go. Even though like the international people are like that, but we're just like we're gonna see the
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
But don't be lame, guys. If you enjoy like pro wrestling, just don't listen to the spoilers. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
But I love this. Great move. But moving on now to our next weekly news and rumors. WWE is interested in another bloodline relative. According to Fightful, WWE has their eyes on Zilla Fatu. Fatu was spotted at SummerSlam after having travel delays and cancellations that caused him to miss a GCW booking. He's still expected to be at GCW shows for the time being and isn't signed to WWE yet. Should WWE sign him?
That's an obvious. Absolutely. I mean, he's Umaga's son. The dude, like, obviously, he's very new still. You know, he still needs to develop a little bit. So the Performance Center would be great for him for a few months. And then obviously get him into NXT. Have him fucking climb the ranks like Solo did, and then eventually find himself in the main roster. There is a lot you can do with Zilla Fatu. So, yeah.
And I will say for his age too, I think that he's very well like advanced with his skills. And I think that he definitely will strive in WWE, but I feel like it's one of those cases where I feel like they shouldn't rush him into the main roster because of what's going on with the bloodline. I think that they need to have him go to NXT, work on television wrestling because there is a difference between what you do in GCW and the indies than there is on television. So I think Fatu, like once he goes there, dips his toes in, I think that that would be great for him. Very talented. And I do definitely see him signing with WWE by the end of this year. 100%. He's very talented. Very.
Yeah.
But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But it is kind of funny that he was spotted in the SummerSlam crowd. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
No box suite for him. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly news and rumors. Becky Lynch has officially retired. Becky posted this on Instagram, and I quote, "It's been a hell of a career. Being the man for all of you was an honor. Being the mom for her is a privilege. Thank you for watching my bio on A&E TV." Do you think that this is it for Becky Lynch?
No. It's too soon.
Yeah, I think Becky, like, for her, like, I don't see her maybe going on, like, another full-time run, But I could definitely see her like making appearances and like pretty much doing what Trish and like Lita are doing right now with their careers.
Still too soon. I don't think
Because think about it, Ben. Like, what else can she accomplish in WWE? Like, she's done it all at this point.
Again, all I can really say is I don't buy it. She's not done.
You think she's gonna get that wrestling itch?
Oh yeah, dude. It's not even, dude. I don't think anything was aimed towards retirement in the first fucking place. And if it really was, what a bogus way to go out. And it's kind of boring. It's kind of boring. I'll say
I
it. Like, it's
don't think
boring as
so. I
fuck.
think she's playing it off, to be honest with you. Like, she'll be back
yeah,
like
dude,
after Mania or something.
That's exactly what it is. Like, she's just taking time off, and she wants you to think that way, so you don't have to expect her for a while, so she can take as much time off as she wants, and then when she feels like coming back, she can come back.
Yeah, definitely. And I apologize to the Maniacs. Ben and I, we don't really have a lot to say about this because I believe we already talked about this like a few episodes back.
We did.
Like went more in depth about Becky Lynch and like, do we think she's going to retire and stuff? But this was news. People were talking about what she posted. I think it's just a nice little break. I agree with Ben on that. But moving on now to our last weekly news and rumors. This one, I'm kind of glad you and I are on the same page with this one because I wish we had Danny for this. Let's just say
Fucking
that.
Dumb. But yeah.
WrestleMania posted this picture and said, there's rumors that WWE is trying to get the WWF name back. Do you see this happening, Ben?
No.
I was going to say, you want to say it at the same time, but you already said it.
Yeah.
One, two, three. No.
Nope.
And I'll let you start, Ben. I'll let you rant first.
I mean, they lost the fucking trademark to WWF because another company had the trademark to WWF for even longer. So, and it was the World Wildlife Foundation.
Yeah,
or Federation. Yeah, Foundation. World Wildlife Foundation. It's for fucking animals. Obviously, like, they're not going to be like, no, this wrestling company gets to have it. Like, no, people care about animals more, and arguably so. Like, no, Danny, it's not happening. No. No. Had nothing to do with the Vince thing, bro. It wasn't a Vince thing. It was an animal wildlife thing.
Only if you guys had access to our little group chat, me, Ben, and Danny, you guys would understand. But this came out and immediately, because I always see WrestleMania, they do stuff like this, and it's not even rumors. It's just to get people riled up and like talk about scenarios. Like, do you see this happening or that happening? And I think people like Danny are taking this way out of proportion because why would WWE, a multi-billion-dollar company who right now, like if you go on to like Sports Center, you go like to all these bigger medias, they know WWE for WWE, not WWF. So why would they change that? They just built a whole new freaking headquarters.
Yeah.
And like we even got that WWE logo not that long ago either. Like I get the Attitude Era was like one of the best times in pro wrestling,
but just let it die.
But you just gotta move forward.
Let it go, man. It's been gone for 30 years.
And WWE is striving right now. Like what? You changed the name WWF. What does it do? What does it honestly do, Ben?
Ooh, nostalgia. Here we go again.
That's it. Like, there's really not, like, it's not going to add anything to the product. Like, people, like, there's a lot of old school people out there because at my shoot job, I work at a plumbing supply shop and a lot of older plumbers come in. And a lot of the times, because I'm wearing wrestling shirts all the time, they tell me, oh, wrestling is just not the same anymore. So you really think if WWE decides to go back to the WWF, you really think that these old timers are going to come back and watch WWE because they brought the F back in? No, because wrestling has changed through time. Wrestling is not the same as it once was. Like there's a reason why like these Hall of Famers and like guys like Jim Cornette, they critique the product a lot these days because it's different. So like I don't understand why they would want to go back in time. when literally in their intro, it's then, now, forever, and together. It's not happening. So Danny, I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but it's not happening. And anybody else here, and I swear, if they're Angelo, friggin' Alex Johnson, any of you guys actually believe that this is happening, you guys are just as crazy. But up next, we have the Getting Put Over segment, and of course, the main event topic. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast episode 120.
Hey, this is Flip Gordon. You're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. Let's flip and go!
Collecting has always had a special place in my heart, going all the way back to when I was a kid. I remember my parents taking me to Toys R Us and waking up on Christmas morning to a bunch of new action figures. I had bins filled with thousands of rare WWE, WCW, ECW, and TNA figures through the years until, unfortunately, I ended up selling my whole childhood without knowing the true value of my collection. 2 years after I made that horrible decision, the pandemic hit, and I realized there was a part of me that felt missing, and that was collecting. My whole life, I've loved collecting wrestling figures, wrestling memorabilia, classic video games, Nickelodeon stuff, sneakers, Funko Pops, and even Angry Birds. As time went by, I decided I wanted to get back into collecting, except this time, document it and rebuild my collection over on Best One Donnie. So, if you want to go back into time and relive my nostalgic memories, subscribe now. We're back, and every week, we do this thing called the Getting Put Over segment, where every week, Ben and I, we alternate and we pick one past, present, or future professional wrestler, and we put them over. Last week, it was my turn, and we put over Shane O'Mac. And this week, Ben, who are we putting over?
We're putting over Matt fucking Hardy, man. The lesser of the Hardys, but has so many fucking cool accolades and a lot of good rivalries that are really juicy that I'd like to talk about. So let's get it on.
Let's get it on. And what another beautiful statue by We Are Wrestling here. Love the little broken head that they're using on Matt. Looks great. What better way to put somebody over than putting them on a statue? I don't
Honestly.
know. But man, I do want to put a disclaimer out for the listeners. In this Getting Put Over, obviously we know Matt Hardy's part of one of the most decorated tag teams of all time, the Hardy Boys. And we'll probably be doing a Getting Put Over on the Hardys eventually. But this is going to be about Matt Hardy. We're going to talk about his singles run. Anything that wasn't involved with Jeff Hardy as a tag team. We're not going to be putting over the Hardy Boys. We're putting over Matt. So where do you want to begin?
I don't know. Let's talk about his accolades, man.
All right, let's talk about the accolades. And Ricky, you need to come back to the We Are Wrestling podcast because this is a lot of work here going through these accolades, especially when it's Ben's picks because Ben is out here freaking picking all-stars. So here we go with the accolades for Matt freaking Hardy. So here we go. Let's start off with Ring of Honor. Because he is a one-time ROH World Tag Team Championship with Jeff Hardy, of course. Let's go into TNA now. He is a two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He's a two-time TNA World Tag Team Champion with Jeff Hardy or you can call him Brother Nero during that time. And he also was a TNA World Tag Team Championship. No, that's not. We don't freaking put over tournament things then. All right, let's get into the World Wrestling Federation / WWE. Don't even get me started with that. We already talked about that over on the recap. So here we go with the accolades. So Matt Hardy is a one-time ECW champion, and we're not talking about 1999 when ECW was hot. We're talking about 2009. It was still a beautiful looking championship though. Yes. And Matt Hardy was also a one-time WWE Hardcore champion. Probably held the championship for like 10 seconds. And he was also a one-time WWE European champion. And he was even a one-time WWE United States champion, one-time Cruiserweight champion, and he was a 6-time WWF / WWF World Tag Team Champion with Jeff Hardy. And he was a one-time WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champion with Jeff Hardy that, unfortunately, he had to vacate due to injury. And he is a 3-time WWE Raw Tag Team Champion. And they actually got that wrong. Blame Wikipedia, because I forgot. Him and MVP, they were the WWE Tag Team Champions on SmackDown. So they were 2-time Raw Tag Champions, one time with Jeff Hardy and one time with Bray Wyatt. And even during the horrible Invasion angle, he won the WCW Tag Team Champions, one time with Jeff Hardy. And he also ended up winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in 2018 that nobody remembers.
Yep.
So that is all Matt Hardy's accolades, which is crazy. He has won a lot of singles championships during his time.
Yeah, dude, he won a lot of shit, which is kind of crazy that like nobody wants to appreciate it. Like that dude put on some of the greatest, and I hate to say it, but like whenever it got personal, like it was his best shit. Like it was his best shit. Like again, we could start here. One of my favorite feuds of all time, and I think you know which one I'm going for. Was
Matt
his
Hardy and Edge.
Yep.
I had to take it from you. Matt Hardy and Edge.
Yep, Matt Hardy and Edge.
That's the first thing on my list, literally.
Yep, Matt Hardy and Edge. What a fucking bloodbath we got to see play out in real time. And like, it was unfortunate because these are two individuals who are going through some real life shit with each other. But unfortunately, because of their jobs and because of how, you know, popular they are, they got to play that shit out on TV itself. So the whole world got to fucking, you know, call Lita a fucking slut, Edge the worst fucking things, fucking Matt Hardy a psychopathic asshole. Like it was blurring the lines between reality and pro wrestling, so you could never know if they were throwing real fucking punches at each other. But it was amazing because they are so goddamn professional that they could still trust each other to do these matches without knowing they're going to intentionally hurt the other guy, because real life bad blood can make you do some awful things. And kudos to those guys.
And I got to say, man, this was a really shitty time too for all three of them. And the fact that like they were going through this whole affair thing, and the fact that like it was all happening within live time, like Matt Hardy legitimately got fired because of the shit that he said about Lita and Edge.
Yeah, dude, and it sucks. It sucks knowing that something that horrible happened to you, but you feel like, and it really looks like, that you're the only one getting punished for it, for having a human reaction, and then having to forcibly fucking portray this shit as a storyline on TV because you know it's going to make money. Yeah, you get paid, but that scar is out there for everybody to see, to replay as much as they want for their entire fucking lives and unearth those feelings all over again. So it was rough, but my fucking God, the depth of that storyline and that in-ring we got, dude. Oh, like it's hard to top a real life situation storyline like that in real life. Like it's really hard to get that close to the authentic side of things.
And that's the thing, like, you really do have to give credit to Edge. You have to give credit to Matt Hardy, especially because he was the one that went through this.
Yes.
And you also got to give huge respect to Lita, too.
Yeah.
Because even though she did leave a couple of years later because she just couldn't handle the pressure and the whole situation itself, she still made the storyline. And it pretty much, like, without Lita, without Edge or Matt Hardy in there, they wouldn't have created what they did. And
to be honest,
man,
and
I think honestly, like during this time, Matt Hardy was becoming very, very stale. And I think honestly, like this shitty situation gave him the boot in the ass that he needed, because I think that this here furthered his career.
I'm going to say this right now. Without the situation for all of them, none of them would be in the position that they are today. That feud elevated everybody involved's careers. Like they're all fucking Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers, bro. Like they're all of them.
Sadly true.
So it's like, you know, it's a shitty situation, and I would never want to see that happen again, because especially in today's time with social media, dude, that is horrifying. So regardless if it happened, but regardless of what happened, I don't want to see it happen again. But it was because of that they are as big of the stars as they are now and have become household names.
That is very true, because think about it. 2005, Edge was on the rise. He was just a mid-card guy. And then this Matt Hardy feud really launched him into the WWE Championship picture. He became a main event star, rated R superstar.
Yep.
And then, of course, Matt Hardy, after this, like, he went on and he won the United States Championship, had some great SmackDown feuds over there, and then went over to ECW and held the championship at the same time as Jeff Hardy with the WWE title, which was a very cool, iconic picture to see these two brothers that were jobbing out in the beginning as 16-year-olds, putting over all these other stars, to really grinding and to getting to the very top of the mountain. It was a very inspirational moment for them. And even like Matt Hardy was able to reinvent himself time after time. And I think that this feud with Edge really just gave him the boot in the ass that he needed in his career to really have this Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the thing with Matt Hardy. Like, I love that we're putting him over individually, because a lot of the times when it comes to tag teams, there's always this Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty comparisons. A lot of the times there's always one that's more popular than the other. And we all know Jeff Hardy's more popular than Matt. And I think a lot of people forget how much Matt Hardy has done without Jeff. And that's why I love this getting put over, because with Matt Hardy, man, ruthless aggression Matt Hardy, I fucking loved. And one of the characters that I really enjoyed with him was over on the SmackDown brand around 2003, version 1 Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah.
I loved what he did with Shannon Moore, and then that match at WrestleMania 19, him versus Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Ooh.
Love that rivalry. I felt like around that time, Matt Hardy made that championship very prestigious.
Absolutely.
He was a bigger star than Jeff around 2003, which is crazy.
Which is nuts, because Jeff was having, around that time, he was having singles runs programs with fucking The Undertaker around that time, who gave him the fucking green light as a fucking legend. Like, he gave him his fucking flowers that night, because even he was just like, holy fuck, this kid is insane. Like, insane in the ring. Like, he understood fucking charisma, all that shit. But this isn't about Jeff. But they were both at the time hot as fuck for their own reasons, where Jeff wasn't really in a title picture, but Matt was killing it with the Cruiserweight title and his V1 status, and just how
facts every entrance.
V1 Matt Hardy and fucking broken/woken Matt Hardy are the best versions of Matt Hardy, period. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, nah, man, I definitely agree with you on that. But dude, with Matt Hardy, like with version 1, I just always just enjoyed the little Matt facts that you got. I love the arrogance.
Every time he came out, we got a Matt fact. Every time he came out.
And the entrance was great. And that's the thing,
talk
like,
about how underrated his song was, though. Oh yeah, do. I could slap a tornado. I could dry up the seas, yeah. When I live for the moment, there ain't no way stopping me. Yeah. Yeah, dude. This shit was fucking A1, bro. Like, that song fucked so hard and was way ahead of its time. And because of that song and his little Matt facts, dude, hype as fuck every time he came out.
Yeah, that was great. And then he was able to work with his buddy Shannon Moore, which is cool too. And even Crash Holly for a little bit, which was nice.
Yeah, rest his fucking soul. But still, like, fucking Shannon Moore was able to get some exposure because of Matt, which again garnered fucking Shannon Moore's indie career even currently. You know, like, the dude is a talented dude. It's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to get over like the Hardys were. But it was really cool during that time to have him as like his little henchman.
Man, I think the Cruiserweight division needed that, though, because they had a lot of great high flyers, but they needed that larger-than-life character, and I think the Virgin 1 Matt Hardy was perfect for that.
And like we've discussed, man, like, timing is everything, and version 1 Matt Hardy at that time was very needed. And again, you know, with his split from Jeff for a while, and him being on his singles run, having him be like, you know, we got a really good high flyer from out of the tag team. Let's see what he can do in singles. Let's make him a heel and let him fly. Dude, Matt is one of the greatest character creators there are, and that is not talked about enough. And version 1 and Broken Woken Matt Hardy, again, are just masterpieces of what his mind can do.
And you got to give him credit, too, for creating Brother Nero, too, during that time. because that was all Matt Hardy's creation. And that was kind of cool, like around that time, which I'll get into in just a minute, because there is one thing I really do want to put over. One of my favorite feuds that he had, like when he went over to the SmackDown brand after the Edge thing, I loved what he did with MVP around that time. I think that Matt Hardy really helped MVP become a big mid-card star, and I just love the segments. Like every week it was something new, whether they're doing like a push-up contest or like arm wrestling or like an eating contest. And then especially one of my favorite ones was the basketball thing, because MVP always tried to go out and like try to prove that he's like the best. Matt Hardy couldn't. And then Matt Hardy was like, I think he had like a lot of title defense. Like he had a lot of opportunities to take the title from MVP, but every time MVP was better than him. So then they let it build up through time. They even won the tag champions. And then Matt Hardy finally got that moment. And I thought that that was really freaking cool.
Yeah. I mean, he even boxed somebody before.
Underrated US run, I think.
Yeah, and he even boxed somebody before, like actual boxing. Like the dude stepped in a boxing ring, bro. Like that's not any small feat, because you throw actual punches in that shit. So like, I gotta give it to him, man. Like that extreme, those intrusive thoughts were fucking winning. And honestly, good on him. Like he's a dude that really stepped out for his career, and it paid off. I think another really good thing I want to talk about is again, his tag team run with Bray Wyatt as Woken Matt Hardy. Like that was some of the most entertaining television, because who would have thought, man, putting those two together would make such an interesting, like just compelling dynamic duo, because at this point the Wyatt family wasn't really a thing. Jeff was doing like his own thing as well. I think he was focusing more on like the US title run or title picture.
Jeff was doing
point,
single stuff at the time.
Yeah, so it's like having him with Bray Wyatt, who both sides were kind of like plateauing around that time. Putting those characters together not only was fucking entertaining as hell, but it just made sense, and we got a different kind of recipe between both of them that just worked so well, and eventually, like again, a title run.
Man, that's the thing I loved about the Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt Hardy thing, was just the little segments that they had. Like I remember just like one episode of Raw for like, I think like 5 minutes straight. I remember like seeing Bray Wyatt on the screen just doing his little laugh, and then you got the Matt Hardy, yes, and then it would go back to Bray Wyatt doing his creepy laugh, and then they did that for like 5 minutes straight. I loved the Ultimate Deletion match with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. That was so cool to see on Raw TV during that time, because they didn't do cinematic matches. And this was like the very first one. And this was like before a pandemic too. So the fact that they were able to do this, like I really enjoyed it, especially like Matt Hardy, like with the the mower of lawns. I fucking love that character so much.
Yeah.
It's gotten stale through time, but like when it was hot, like in Impact Wrestling and the feud with Bray Wyatt, it was great.
Yeah, another really good rivalry was between him and Jeff back in what, 2009 when he costed Jeff
the jealousy thing.
Yeah, he costed Jeff the World Heavyweight title, I think, or something like that. Was it World Heavyweight?
Yep, it was the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah,
or I think
Matt
it was
had
WWE title, one or the other.
Matt was behind the fucking pyros going wrong, and then he eventually turned and hit him with the chair, and everybody fucking erupted. I think the only thing I hated about what they did with Matt, like I loved the heel Matt. I loved it. I loved brother versus brother. Like that's some entertaining shit. And it even culminated at WrestleMania. But the one thing I couldn't stand, and it's such a small fucking detail, but it pissed a lot of people off, including me. What the fuck were those tights that they were making him wear, bro? Those purple fucking tights. Like, what the fuck was good with those tights, bro?
Then they had the keys on them.
I don't give a fuck. They were fucking tights. Dude has... All right, y'all know about this. If you know anything about, like the Hardys on their YouTube channel or any kind of fucking interviews they've done, Matt has some bow-legged ass fucking legs. So having him in those tights exposing that shit was just so fucking awkward. And it was just weird, and I didn't like it. Like, they could have just gone back to version 1 or some shit, but
Hey,
or maybe it was just so fucked. What?
one of the most iconic moments with him in the tights, because he did a lot of botching during that time too.
Yeah, because it was the fucking tights.
I remember NXT, the game show, season 1. He was the bro to Justin Gabriel, and then he does his little thing on the ropes doing the, and then he fucking
I remember that shit. That shit was so fucking funny, dude. He just fucking crashed onto the floor and starts dying. I remember that shit.
He did a lot of botching during that time, but I really did enjoy the 2 matches that they did have, like at Backlash and WrestleMania. That was great. I'm just mad that like Jeff was like put over that whole time. Like I felt like Matt should have won at least one of those 2 matches, because that would have added a little more credibility to the heel run. But I think they were trying to like skyrocket Jeff at that time.
Yeah, especially with him being a main event star at that point.
Yep, because I think that's when he started going for the World Heavyweight Championship. Because I think it was the WWE title that cost him. Because at the draft, I think they switched the titles back in like 2009.
This next match that I want to mention again it's a smaller thing. It's an honorable mention. Something that I thought was really cool back in the day, 05. 05, it was Taboo Tuesday when the fans got to vote who went up with Rey Mysterio.
Love Taboo Tuesday.
Having them further the Matt and Jeff feud. I mean, the Matt and fucking Edge feud. They fucking Matt Hardy got tagged in to be Rey Mysterio's opponent just for fucking Edge to not even fucking wrestle that night, which pissed me off. But circling back to that, the cruiserweight title feud with fucking Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 19. It was kind of cool to see them teaming, and it was an authentic match, dude. That match was a banger. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, I love Taboo Tuesday. It was so unique.
It was fun, and then it became Cyber Sunday, and then they fucked it up.
Yep, pretty much. We got that right. But man, with Matt Hardy now, I do want to talk about his TNA and Impact Wrestling run, because I feel like that's where he was able to reinvent himself, because we know he did struggle a lot in early 2010 with drug issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he went over to Ring of Honor and did the Stronger Than Death thing, and then eventually went to Impact Wrestling / TNA, and then he had a great friggin' run with the World Heavyweight Championship. And one of my favorite things that Matt Hardy did in TNA has got to be the Big Money Matt character. I loved Big Money Matt when he had Revy, and then he also had Brodus Clay by his side, which I think was going by Tyrus at the time. Yeah. And then like Matt Hardy would have these nice custom suits on. I really enjoyed the feud with him in EC3 during that time.
Yeah.
And then once he lost the championship, this is my favorite Matt Hardy of all time, because Matt Hardy became broken Matt Hardy because he lost all of his money. And then I remember watching the videos over on his channel. He would make these like 1-minute videos, and it would be something stupid. Like with his lawn, he would pretty much say like, you don't understand how hard it is to be Matt Hardy. I have to clean my pool or something stupid like that. Something normal that people would do. Like he would just like do the you don't understand thing, and then eventually became broken, hair all puffed up. And man, he really like reinvented himself during that time.
Yeah.
But like with Matt Hardy, dude, it's friggin' awesome to see like what he's done with his career, because the reason like he's had this long run is because when things got stale, he was really able to go outside his comfort zone and he would just reinvent himself. Something that Chris Jericho does really well in his career as well. And I think Matt Hardy has done a great job with that. And I think Impact Wrestling and TNA have really given him that. And I think that's the reason he was able to go back to WWE in 2017, because of what TNA and Ring of Honor gave him.
Yeah.
And just let him pretty much have his little compound matches, which were great. And then I just can't believe that WrestleMania, man. He had that great match with the Young Bucks with Jeff, and then him and Jeff, they show back up in WWE. Biggest pop, biggest surprise ever. And then they didn't know what to do with them after that.
Yeah.
But with AEW, because Matt Hardy did have a run during his time with All Elite Wrestling for a little while. Now he's currently a free agent doing stuff with TNA. The only thing I can really put over during his run with AEW has got to be his feud with Sammy Guevara. I feel like
That was the last time it was relevant.
That was like the only good thing I feel like he did, because there was a lot of like realism in there as well because of like some of the accidents that happened in that rivalry. So it kind of like furthered the feud between the two. And I really enjoyed the compound match with them.
Yeah.
But after that, like they tried to do the big money mat thing with a bunch of jobbers, reminded me of like $1 Million Man Corporation, and
Yeah, it just didn't
just
work.
wasn't good. Wasn't good. And then of course the Hardys thing didn't work out because we all know what happened there. So it's unfortunate that like Matt like didn't really do anything. But I'm hoping that like now that he's like closer to the end of his career, that like he can hang up the boots when the time is right. And I hope that he gets that one more match in WWE.
Yeah.
But is there anything else, man, you want to put over with Matt before we close off this getting put over?
Nope, because I feel like we still got a little bit of a chapter to go. So the book is still open. So it was fun putting him over.
It was fun. So this week we ended up putting over Matt freaking Hardy. What a great career he's had, and definitely deserves his flowers. Then you picked him, so now next week I get to pick who we're going to put over. And right now, I am just gonna turn around. I'm gonna look at my wrestling figures here, and I'm gonna make a quick decision right on the spot. So let's see who we're gonna put over. All right, so next week we are going to be putting over. So Ben, you better be ready to do your homework here. We're putting over Braun Breaker's uncle, Big Papa Bump Scott Steiner, next week here on the We Are Wrestling podcast. So you better start doing some math homework, because we're going to be putting over Scott Steiner.
Okay.
We're going to have to talk about some of our favorite fat jokes he's made.
That'll be fun.
So yeah, next week we're going to put Scott Steiner over. He's going to have a nice, beautiful statue like Matt Hardy here. So with that being said now, let's get into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling podcast, episode 120. And we can't think of a bigger main event than the tribal chief himself, the original Roman Reigns. He is back. He returned at SummerSlam. What is your thoughts on his return?
Massive pop, official babyface. What we thought was going to happen happened. It was a beautiful, beautiful cinema. That's all it was. It was just cinema. A lot of people hate the remix on a song, but I think it was a one-off just to kind of give him a grand return. I think we're going back to the OG. I think this was just a big moment to get a big reaction, which we did. That shit was rumbling in that arena. Obviously, seeing him clean up some family business is going to be fun, and seeing him help Cody win retain the title that he took from him shows a lot. And that was like kind of the confirmation that we got a babyface on our hands. But to see him do it as the tribal chief is going to be super interesting, because I don't think he's going to change a lot of things in the way he speaks, the way he talks, his mannerism, his swag. I think all of that is still intact, and it's going to be kind of cool to see him with the actual support from the fans. So I'm really, really excited to see him go on this mind-bending story. Obviously furthering into Bad Blood, the Civil War, eventually the Rumble, Mania. I'm really excited to see this Tribal Chief 2.0 and to see where we're going to go.
That's the thing, man, with Roman Reigns that I'm excited about, because with this babyface run, this is going to be the first time that Triple H is booking him as a babyface compared to Vince McMahon. Because Vince tried and he failed bad. But I think that Roman Reigns right now, this is the perfect time to turn him babyface. I think that the new bloodline, they've definitely furthered more without Roman. So I think Solo now is more of a legitimate star. I think Fatu is on the rise. Tama Tonga looks good. We're not going to talk about Cabacho, but with Roman Reigns, man, I am very excited to see him back, especially with like the pop that he got here. He looks incredible. He looks ready to go, and I think that this feud that's pretty much Roman Reigns' road to WrestleMania begins tonight on SmackDown.
Oh,
And I
absolutely,
can't
bro.
wait to see what happens because I feel like with the direction of Roman Reigns, I feel like eventually it's going to be at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns versus the final boss, The Rock.
Yep.
Because I think I think Roman in his mind, he's going to think that he's taking care of the bloodline by the Royal Rumble. And then we're going to get a promo with Roman saying, now that I took care of business, family business, I'm going to get my championship back. And by doing that, I'm entering the Royal Rumble. And I think at the Rumble, that's when the final boss and the bloodline are going to cost him. We're going to find out that The Rock is behind the whole new bloodline thing with Solo and Fatu and Tamatanga. And I think going into WrestleMania, Roman versus Rock will happen.
Absolutely.
And this is going to be exciting to see like what happens moving forward because I'm excited to see like what's going to happen with Sammy, what's going to happen with Jay, what's going to happen with Jimmy, the wise man, bringing the band back together. And I think, man, Survivor Series, we're in for something special.
Yeah, man. Civil War is going to be nuts.
But I am curious to see like how they're going to do this with him and Solo. Because I feel like one thing they need to do with Solo is give him a big win over Roman. Because I think that everybody will forget, like, oh, this dude lost 35 matches in a row. What has he done? If he beats Roman, I think
I'll
that
tell you what he
all
did.
that is going to be gone.
I'll tell you what he did. He went out and he got himself an enforcer. That's where Jacob Fatu comes in. And that's where we're kicking in the fucking gears for the Civil War. That he's going to need the backup because Jacob Fatu is going to demolish this man. And then fucking Solo's going to get that pin. I mark my words. This is how it's going to finish in that match. Jacob Fatu is going to fuck up Roman Reigns. And then he is going to stack Solo on him and hold him down for the pin. It's going to be bloodline rules. Bad blood, dude.
I can't wait, man, because I feel like with Bad Blood, like they're going to have this whole PLE inside Hell in the Cell at this point with the way things are, because Punk and McIntyre, that's one thing we learned on Monday. Their feud is not ending anytime soon.
Nope.
We need to put their asses inside of Hell in the Cell. I feel like we need to put Liv and Rhea inside the Hell in the Cell for a lot of reasons. And Roman and Solo, I think that they got to go inside the Hell in the Cell, or even Fatu versus Roman.
Yep.
But we're just going to have to wait and see. I think it all depends on what happens tonight on SmackDown, but it's going to be very interesting. Roman Reigns being back, great move. I'm glad it didn't happen on SmackDown and they waited for SummerSlam.
Yep.
But now the last thing we're going to end this off with, Ben, because there's a lot of people now that are debating on which return was better, Roman Reigns or CM Punk Survivor Series. If you had to pick one.
There's no context there. I won't pick one because they're on two different completely levels. I mean, if you want my actual answer and blunt answer, CM Punk, 100%, way better. And because that's something that was unbelievable. Roman coming back, it was just people wanted it because they're bored as fuck with Solo. And they knew that he was going to come back as a babyface. CM Punk, we never saw coming. So I would say CM Punk, and that's what rocked the entire wrestling world. Roman coming back just rocked the storyline and where we're going. So CM Punk all the way.
I totally have to agree with you on that one. Because
Great
now,
reception,
a lot of people are going back and forth with it. And I think that just proves that, like, what a time to be a WWE fan. Because this shit we never got years ago, and now we're getting it. And I think WWE is going to continue to strive. And now that Roman's back and AJ Styles showing up tonight on SmackDown, we are back in fucking business, Ben. Is there anything else you want to talk about? So before we close off this week's episode.
Now we covered it all, man.
We definitely covered it all. So to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered this week. Ben might pick your comment next week on the podcast. The only way you get that is comment down below. If you guys enjoyed this week's episode, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this episode on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts or shows, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. Give us a follow. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already over on the YouTube channel, highly recommend you guys hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, Videos are coming out of nowhere like an RKO. Links down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I over on our social medias and other YouTube pages. And you can go check out Ben on Twitch, because that's where he's more active right now. And great new intro, by the way.
Thank you,
and
man.
you can go check out my toy channel, Best One Donnie. I know there hasn't been new videos every day this week, but we're getting back on track one day at a time. Links down in the description box below. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.